All right. Akasha, welcome. So great to see you. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm well. Thanks for being here. So let's see here. Where do we start with you, Akasha? We've done so much cool work with you. We know, you and I know each other through Peter, right? My
Yeah.
partner at SprayNet and Kitchen Vision and SBM.
hmm
But zoom out a little more. We actually know each other, and you know Peter through the martial arts community. So you were in Easton. You've trained Muay Thai. You even went to jujitsu class today, right?
Yeah, I went this morning. Jiu-jitsu's been awesome. It's been such a great journey. It's made me meet a lot of wonderful people like you guys, and I'm especially grateful for Peter, who I'm working with now, and he's introduced me to you. So it's been a great community so far.
Yeah, I mean, we're so stoked to have you on the team. I mean, so for everybody listening, so Kasha's done work for Streamline Business Media, so marketing stuff for us. She's been on site with SprayNet, done SprayNet bids, is one of the SprayNet designers, just overall badass. And now, and you're a jujitsu practitioner, and you were doing Muay Thai before jujitsu, right?
A little bit, yeah. Mostly
Okay.
jiu-jitsu, but yeah, a little bit of Muay Thai.
And who'd you train with today? Was it Mallory?
Yeah, it was Mallory. Uh-huh.
All right. Shout out to Mallory.
Yeah.
We're just hanging with world champions, just taking classes from world champions. No big deal.
Yeah. But
So,
it's been great to work with you guys in all these capacities and kind of be your little Swiss Army knife.
yeah, that's right. You are a Swiss Army knife, right? You've got, I mean, you're obviously a values match, but you're also a talent match. So, and whatever wherever the wave takes you with all this stuff, you're surfing it like a pro. So, super stoked to have you on this show, on the team. I want to dig in a little to SprayNet, SBM, Kitchen Vision, your design stuff. Um, there's a lot here. Let's just take a 10,000-foot view on designers working with SprayNet, right? So SprayNet is the proprietary coating. Specifically, what designers are into is our cabinet coating. Why do you like it? Why do you like SprayNet? Why are you working with us, Akasha?
Well, those are a lot of questions, but initially I had interest in real estate and design. Those were kind of things I was already moving towards, and I reached out to Peter because I know that you guys were doing SprayNet and working with homes and all this stuff. So I started working with Peter and you, and kind of got to know more about SprayNet, what you're doing with SBM, and I got really excited to work with you guys. You guys are constantly coming up with new ideas, new visions. It's really exciting to work with you guys. It's also very challenging because I have to personally, work through my challenges and come up with the next thing. And you guys encouraged me. You guys steward me, and I really appreciate all that. And that's very rare to find, I feel like, these days. So I've loved working with you guys, and I think we've grown a really great relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, I know it's chaos working with me in particular, right? I get it. That's why we have Peter on board. He's the operator, right? He's what we call the integrator in the EOS system, right? The entrepreneurial operating system. I'm the visionary. He's the integrator. So he really brings some balance and some structure where I'm just spewing ideas and bouncing off the walls, coming up with stuff and making stuff happen. But I tell you, we've thrown a lot at you, and you've stepped up every single time. Let's talk. Let's narrow it down, though, because you've been on site watching these transformations. Let's start there. So we get no. Let's start before there. Like, you and I have walked into a client's house, and they're like, what do we do? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we've helped them decide what they do. How do we help them decide what to do? Let's start there. Before they even sign up for a kitchen transformation, we're in their kitchen. What's step one?
Yeah. So step one is all they know is they have this idea. I think I want to go lighter on my cabinets. They look a little dated or whatever the thing is, right? And we're there just kind of giving them a quote, but also walking them through a whole process. And the value of spray net products, spray net coatings, which a lot of people are unaware of because, with the 15-year warranty and the peel resistant properties, which I don't know all the chemical breakdowns of, but that's okay. It's a really great product and people don't know that. So we come into their homes and we have to show them, hey, we're actually not a regular traditional painting company. We have different kinds of products that are specially chemically made, custom tailored, and these things are going to last for 15 years or more. And people don't know that. So we're in there consulting them, yes, on like, okay, your kitchen would look great in these brighter colors or these darker colors, but also like, what are your goals with this? Are you moving in? Are you moving out? You want this to last. You want to work with good people because, you and I know that a lot of these contractors come in, do a crappy job, and then you never hear from them again. And their stuff starts peeling and cracking and then you're calling spray net.
That's right. Well, that's the standard story that I hear from essentially every interior designer, right? Is that right there is they have a hard time maintaining relationships with various subcontractors because subcontractors, some crawl into bottles, they disappear, they have communication challenges, right? And so that's one of the things that you knew that with us, but you really saw it in action when you started helping these clients design their kitchens. Let's say change their cabinets from old orange oak to beautiful white. And then you've seen every step to make that so, right? Even the bumps in the road, right? We had one client where Peter accidentally scratched the fancy burners, right? The fancy stovetop. Mm-hmm. We replaced it. We went out and bought a brand new one and replaced it, right? As designers, I mean, I don't mean to speak for you, but that's what you want, right? You want somebody who stands behind their stuff and shows up when there's bumps in the road.
Exactly. And I've seen it personally with family, with friends way too many times. Something happens, they're hiring a contractor to paint something or, repair something, and just like in the middle of the job or the job isn't done or they ask for money in advance and then they never hear from them again. And, they're left just kind of like, okay, I've ran out of money. This thing isn't working. Now what? Now what do I do? And so you guys have definitely earned a lot of my respect personally, just because I've seen how many times a client is just pissed off or, hey, you guys didn't do this thing right. And you're on top of it. You're okay. How can we fix it? How can we, make this experience better for you? Even if it's because you guys got this franchise, someone had it before you in those same locations and you're actually fixing their mess ups.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so that listen, the story you tell about that, I hear this from every designer, right? And the thing that most contractors, I think, don't get, or no, I shouldn't say most, some contractors don't get, because there's some great ones. But when working with designers, you're the one who has to listen to that client's emotional, turmoil because the job isn't going right. You're the one leading the charge here. You're the one sheltering the client from the mess, right? And so when you're finding your subs and finding your contractors, you want to know that you can count on them. And again, I just hear that over and over and over. And yes, when we bought the spray net franchises, we bought 3. We bought as many as they'd let us buy. And one of them was operational. And it had closed. I think it had been closed for 6 months before we, reopened it essentially. And yeah, I mean, we're going to go do a full touch up because the last owner didn't have his crews prepped properly. And, the question is, are we going to stand by everything that SprayNet does? Right. And the answer is yes. And because of that, we start earning some loyalty, especially from the designer community, the general contractor community, obviously the client community. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate you pointing that out. I mean, that's exactly right. Tell me, again, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but the SprayNet coating, which is a proprietary coating, versus traditional cabinet paint. What's the differences there?
Yeah, I mean, I've walked into the kitchens and I've seen the difference. I mean, people who stopped a paint job halfway through because it was already peeling and scratching off halfway through the paint job.
Yeah.
So they were like, this is not what we're looking for. This is not right, and at the price we're paying, like a lot of people think, oh, it's just a paint job. I don't want to spend that much. I'm just changing the color, but when you walk in and you see paint starting to peel and scratch, you're going to see that every day until it gets fixed. And then you realize every time you paint that over with that same traditional paint, you're just going to keep running into that problem and spending the money that you would have spent anyway with something like spray net, which isn't going to do the scratching and the peeling. And it's covered by a 15-year warranty. So
Yeah.
that's just like peace of mind right there.
Yeah. I mean, there's just, I know you don't need to know the science because you're on the design side. You're like, hey, Cruz, we got to make this beautiful. It's got to look like it's.
I leave science to you.
It's the science is it's a 2-component cross-linking polyurethane that's a lot like an automotive paint, right? They're mixing the paint on site, and it's not even paint; it's a coating, right? They're doing the chemistry on site, and then they have, after all the prep work. And you've seen that prep work firsthand from start to finish. That's why I love when the good designers, want to come in and see the whole deal, right? They want to see start to finish. They want to understand the process. I was talking to another designer, Kristen, 2 days ago, and she's a rock star too. And she's like, I want to see the process, and I know that they mean business if they actually want to go in and see it, right? Not the finished product. Obviously, that's easy. You take pictures, you take videos, it looks gorgeous, but they want to see the steps because they know without that prep, no matter how fancy the paint, it's not going to stick. It's not going to adhere. So you've seen it start to finish. Let's pivot a little here. I want to ask some more questions, but so that's your spring. You're a key partner at SprayNet. You're also a key partner at Streamline Business Media. Mm-hmm. And these worlds have, I shouldn't say collided, they're integrated, just like our whole portfolio of companies. And so, you've helped manage creating some of this content, the before and afters for SprayNet, the videos, working with clients. We added the Kitchen Vision app. You're seeing, first, let's just start with the Kitchen Vision app. How easy is that app to use?
It's super easy. And you guys are always innovating, which is to make life easier, which is awesome. I know that's a value on your team. So yeah, the Kitchen Vision app makes it incredibly easy to just point in the direction of your kitchen and say, let's look at this color. Let's try this color. What do you think about this? Because picking the color leads to a lot of analysis paralysis. You know that very well.
Yeah.
We've seen clients take a long time to pick their colors. And it can be hard. I know it's a big decision. It's a big commitment. So Kitchen Vision is just an app you guys came up with to really help people see it right there on the spot, because there are other things out there that do that, but they just don't work very well, or, it just takes time or it doesn't load right. So this app is actually really useful. So
yeah, we designed it to be 2 buttons, right? Mm-hmm. Take a picture of your kitchen, push the button, change the color of the cabinets, push the button, change the style of countertop. That's it. Mm-hmm. And I know you designers have fancy 3D modeling software and you can get deep, but it's not, in my humble opinion, that's where some analysis paralysis comes in. That's where the heavy lift comes in. If you're doing full 3D renderings, okay, that makes sense if you're doing ground up, or if you're doing a full tear out and a full remodel. But boy, if you're just changing your cabinets out, refacing or changing the color, and you're just changing the countertops, this is as easy as it gets, right?
Yeah, especially if the client wants to see a lot of different color options right there. And that if you take too long, they're going to kind of wander off and think other things and, find other quotes. So sometimes it's really handy to have something right there to just change the color. Okay, you want the blues? okay, you want the whites. So yeah, it's really convenient.
Let's talk a little about your design aesthetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, you're in there, and I say, Akasha, I don't know anything. It just needs to be better, Akasha. Make it better, okay? What do? You're in my kitchen. I want it better. That's the only word I can come up with. Go.
So my design aesthetic is more modern, more clean, kind of something that allows the energy to flow through because we're basically doing mostly kitchens and bathrooms and like laundry rooms, things like that. That's where I'm focusing. That's where we're focusing, working on those things together. So it's more about how's the space going to be used? Let's look at the space around it. If you have a bunch of red in your living room and then you have a blue kitchen, that color combination might clash a little. So it's good to look at the spaces around it and just kind of how often you're going to be using it and what kind of feel you want to have in that kitchen. And like I said, I kind of do more of the modern clean thing. So a lot of people with the old dated cabinets want to bring it more modern to kind of fit the rest of their home. And so I love doing that part.
Yeah. You were talking earlier off camera about useful, efficient use of stuff, right? So tell me more of that, because we live in this consumer culture. You can buy so much stuff so easily and fill your space with a bunch of stuff. That tell me, help me fight the urge for stuff, Akasha.
Yeah, I'm also very minimalist and functionalist. So for me, everything in the space needs to have a function. It needs to be practical. If it's sitting there, it should have a use, for one thing or another. Even if it's the beautiful version of whatever that function is, that's great. But I'm not gonna just put a lump of, metal on your counter because it's a piece of art and it looks cool. And a lot of designers like that because of the vibe and the mood that it can bring into the space, which is really cool. But for me, I really like those things to be functional. So I want you to be able to use it and for it to be functional. I'm not just trying to fill your space with stuff.
Right. And when I clean out my kitchen, for example, like I did a little video shoot in my kitchen, and I've got kids and we've got cats and dogs and we got stuff, and the stuff just creeps in and creeps in.
Yes. And it does so very quickly. I have 2 kids and you're like, oh man, I cleaned this. It's so efficient. It looks so good. We're going to put all our papers here. We're going to put all our things here. And then, in just a few days, it's like it all goes to hell and there's stuff everywhere. So yeah.
It's the
adding more stuff is not my thing.
Right. It's the creep of the stuff. So, I just did and I'm going to do it after this too. I did a little video shoot about spraying it. We did my kitchen's, my house is 1970s. My cabinets are 1970s particle board. So essentially the crappiest cabinets you could get. And then we added a peninsula, and brand new for 4 cabinets, right? Waist level to floor. Knew they wanted $4,000 for those, $4,000. And so we went to Habitat for Humanity. We bought used ones for $80, and then we put the spray net coating on it, and it looks amazing.
That's awesome.
But anyway, I digress. So I'm cleaning out so I've got the kitchen in livable mode, which is stuff, kids, dogs, cats, you name it. I clean it out I take all that stuff that isn't functional at the moment, and I put it away, and the whole space feels better. It feels lighter. I feel lighter, right? Isn't that wild how like your space affects the way your body feels?
Absolutely. Yeah, it affects everything. I notice like when I have my living room arranged a certain way and it's like something's off, I see the things piling up, and it's just like the way the energy flows. And then when you switch it around and the energy kind of flows a better way, then things don't pile up as much. It's really interesting to watch that.
Right. You've said that multiple times, and I haven't thought of it that way. The energy flow, but that's the feng shui.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely something to that energy flow. I absolutely believe it. Okay, so let's next step. So you roll in, and you roll into a client's kitchen, and they say, "All right, I've got designer Akasha from AKA Designs. Make my space flow." Right. Make
Mm-hmm.
this make it better, Akasha. Give me the 1-2 punch or the 1-2-3 punch just for kitchens. Give me the basics.
Yeah. So we're going to look at the cabinets. That's kind of the most important thing. We're going to look at countertops. And then a distant third would be backsplash. And then a fourth would be paint. So that's kind of the order I would look at all your things in, and then kind of see what kind of feel you want, and then how that's going to match to the rest of the home, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we agree on this stuff because we're working together. You see, we're doing the same stuff. You're on the Kitchen Vision team, the SprayNet team. Mm-hmm. You've seen all this content made from SBM. You're a designer. You've quoted jobs. So yeah, we are biased, but it's an informed bias for sure. Yeah. And the cabinets are the most compelling. Like if you just have one chunk of money to spend to upgrade your kitchens, it's all about the cabinets. Now you can do cheap paint, which you've seen, and that cheap paint is going to start peeling. It might start peeling before you're even done. Mm-hmm. But hopefully not. I mean, hopefully that cheap paint, you can get 3 years out of it, right? Yeah. You'd hope. It doesn't mean you can, but you'd hope. Yeah. But that's why, we never again. And I used to use cheap paint before I bought the SprayNet franchises, before I discovered these patented coatings. But the most cost effective is the coating, right? The SprayNet coating, mm-hmm. which in the world of cabinet paint is not even the most expensive, although I think it should be, but it's not. It's priced right in the middle. Then you've got your refacing, right? So you actually you put on new door faces, whether they're smooth or shaker style or whatever. You do those two long before you consider tearing out those cabinets and replacing them, right?
Yeah, and we just did a flip on a house flipper, and that kitchen was in crazy not good shape.
Yeah.
And they went with SprayNet, and they applied I think it was Chantilly lace, and it looks amazing now. Like, it was really bad. So that was like such an incredible transformation to watch. And instead of like tearing everything out or redesigning or whatever, they did the most cost-effective thing they could, which was go with the best paint they could, which was SprayNet. Mm-hmm. So that's also why I like SprayNet and I support SprayNet, is because we're kind of keeping people from just throwing everything into the trash. You know what I mean? And your exterior coatings, your liquid roof, and all the other coatings that you guys have, I feel like we're keeping people from just throwing out entire parts of their homes and replacing it and getting a lot more life out of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, when I bought these franchises, I just haven't seen a win-win-win scenario like this in a while. So, the client wins because they're saving a bunch of money and a bunch of time, right? The environment wins because you're saving all that crap from being thrown in the landfill. We win because we're making money, right? It's a very synergistic win-win-win all around. Mm-hmm. And the design community is catching on, right? I mean, we've got a few loyal. I mean, I'm thinking of the designers in our portfolio, in our network. I mean, we've got 3 or 4 really loyal interior designers who used to poo-poo the cabinet paint, rightfully so, right? Because they just knew of your traditional cabinet paint that, again, would peel, and now they're seeing this coating. You're seeing this coating, mm-hmm. and you're seeing it stick, and it's beautiful, and it's factory finish, and it does look like it's fresh out of the factory. So it's really cool that we've earned the endorsement of you and our other designers. And that's why we want to rally a bigger crew of designers. I mean, obviously we love you. We love the designers we're working with now, you can't handle all the clients, right? You can't do, so we want, our ideal world is to have a dozen Akashas, somebody of your caliber, working with our coating, saving their clients a bunch of money. And then what we don't talk about as often, but I think we should, is if you've got a design client and they've got a $70,000 budget, and they eat up, $30,000 worth of that budget with cabinets, now you have less firepower to maybe get the exact stone you want, or the backsplash you want, or the exact flooring, the exact tile, the exact accessories, the exact, you name it, fridge, stove, microwave. So tell me a little about that. I mean, if they like the style of the cabinets, give me that, compare tearing all that crap out to using spray net, saving that money, and then having firepower to I don't know, pick something else that they love.
I mean, you being in real estate, as you know, there's always going to be surprise expenditures, things that take longer, things that are going to cost more as you're renovating, as you're going through. So it's always better to have something in your pocket that you're able to kind of come up with when you have those surprise costs and things like that. But I think you and I have both talked to clients, and they were really gung-ho about ripping everything out and getting brand new, and then they realize how much it costs.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, maybe that's not the best route.
Yeah.
So then SprayNet, because of that amazing prep that you guys do, and because of that coating that you have, it really does make it look factory finish, and people are blown away by the results. It looks like a brand new kitchen. So I think it really is the happy medium.
And I keep saying this, I don't want to speak for you, but you probably wouldn't have believed it until you saw it. Am I right? Or
yeah. Like, I mean, when you think paint, you're like, okay, it's just going to be my cabinets, just a different color. But when SprayNet gets done and I see the work, it looks literally brand new, because you guys do such amazing prep.
Quick story about what you're saying about having reserves, having a little extra in case something comes up. So the last 3 houses I've been in, we've made nice for the next owners, right? So we lived in it. We fixed it at the end and made it really nice and to sell. And then when we're leaving, we're like, this place is amazing. We could have lived in here with it that nice, that, why we lived in here. So the house I'm in now, we actually bought the house and we had the opportunity to renovate it before we moved in. Right. And of course it got more expensive, because that's what it does when when you're in your groove and you're excited and you're buying nicer stuff. Long story short, we just went over budget.
Yeah.
And one of the last things that we had to choose was the backsplash. And to this day, and I'm already 150 grand into the renovation, and I was sick of spending money. So I don't want to say I cheaped out, but we got the lesser of the backsplash than we would have preferred. And to this day, I wish I would have spent the extra $500, $800, because you can splurge a little on the backsplash because it's not a lot of square footage,
right.
And my wife feels the same way. We wish we would have spent that extra $800 to buy the exact tile we want. We don't hate it, but we don't love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just to confirm exactly what you're saying. And we had reserves. I was just tired of writing checks,
You got check fatigue at the end.
Yeah. Which you do. Right.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. You've got to go into if you're doing a big renovation, you've got to have a contingency plan. And again, if you can paint or reface your cabinets as opposed to replace them, that might give you the $20,000, $30,000 of contingency that you want, right? Because you will save tens of thousands of dollars when you use a SprayNet coating versus replacing, right? Yeah. it's savings of tens of thousands. So if somebody's, well, actually, I was just in a client's house Friday, and they had a replacement quote for, let me try to remember these numbers. It was around $30,000 for full replacement.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to refinish their cabinets with the spray net coating for, I don't know, it was like $5,000, 5,500, something like that. It had a 5 in front of it. So, big round numbers, let's say we're saving them $25,000. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can buy a lot of fancy backsplash for 25 for a fraction of 25.
Like countertops. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm totally with you. All right. Let's talk a little about accessories. I always ask designers about accessories. Accessories are the icing on the cake, right? But what you said at the beginning, the meat and potatoes of a kitchen renovation is cabinets, countertops, and then everything, then a few extras.
Exactly.
I know we already touched on this, but accessories. Are you a big fan of accessories?
When the value of what they add is greater than the non-function they have. So if you have something really special and it adds more value than something that just sits there and kind of detracts from the space, then go for it. That's great. I think hardware is a great way to accessorize and, play up your style a little bit. So, if you like, a lot of people like the black, just really kind of linear style. That's super modern, super cool. But yeah, if you like something a little more decorative, go for it. That's the place where you can kind of put your style into it.
Yeah. So the knobs, the pulls, but not statues. I know you're not a fan of big statue, stuff, right? And I like it, like you said, it's clean, it's functional. So, and that's about as far as you'd go, right? I mean, is changing out the hardware, or is there anything else you'd even consider with your minimalist? We'll call your, I don't know what I'd label your style as, but it's functional minimalist. There's an Asian influence. Like what, I don't want to speak to you. Tell me more.
Yeah, it's just there might be some ways we can organize your space that's a little more functional, a little more efficient, and I really like that, but also keep your sense of style and what makes you happy when you walk into that kitchen or that bathroom or that laundry room. So, if you like this type of hardware, if that makes you happy to see that in your kitchen and it goes with the theme, great. If there are other functional things we can add to your space that you love to look at it, the way it looks, and you like the way it feels, great. But yeah, I'm not going to add a statue in your kitchen. That's for sure.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I've seen you do this live in front of me, right? Because we've been on design consults together, and you do exactly what you're supposed to do. You ask questions, and then you ask more questions, and then you ask more questions, and then you offer your suggestions, right? So I know this isn't your jam, me putting you on the spot and say, hey, what's your style? Because you're a question asker.
Yeah, I am. So being in this seat is different for me.
Yeah. I mean, and that is the right perspective, we're there to be of service. We know, I know from my decades of, value add real estate that the kind of kitchen vision spray net offerings are the most cost effective, at least that I've found, to improve the value of a house, especially when you're talking kitchens, right? Kitchens, and then secondarily bathrooms, master baths. But kitchens, the 1-2 punch with kitchens, cabinets and countertops, it's just the best bang for your buck. And you want to do design right, you better start asking the clients questions, right? Because you could do the best Akasha version of a kitchen, and let's say I'm a Southern belle, and I want it covered in Southern home style cooking, doohickeys. Then I won't be happy, right? So you're exactly right. You just got to ask a bunch of questions. Okay, let me ask you a few more questions about why you're working with us. And I know we've got history, right? martial arts. We both love Peter. We've obviously worked together, and we're rocking and rolling. But why? I mean, you've got all these opportunities, Akasha.
Mm-hmm.
Why work with us? Why SprayNet? Why Streamline Business Media? Why Kitchen Vision? Why us?
I think for me, first and foremost, is the kind of people that you are, the integrity that you guys have just as individuals, and how you bring that to your SprayNet team and how you interact with clients. It's just full of integrity. I see you guys do difficult things and make a lot of difficult choices, but they are the right choices, and it's the way that you would want to handle it to the best of your ability. I've been in many of those conversations where you're like, okay, this client is like this, and should we handle it this way or that way? And I've seen the conversations, the deep conversations you guys have had, and that's how I would want someone to speak about me. That's how I would want someone to handle me, and that is how you guys handle me. So first and foremost, you guys are just really great people, full of integrity. You make the hard decisions, not the easy decisions, the decisions that are for the future and not just today. So that's
appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, and secondly, you guys are both just powerhouses of knowledge. I mean, you with real estate, entrepreneurship, business, you've got a wealth of knowledge, and you're just you're like a train. You're moving forward. We're going forward. Whatever the difficulty is, we're going forward. And I really respect that. And with Peter, he is so great at managing teams, managing people, checking in. What can I do for you to make your job easier so that all of this, flows naturally? He's a natural efficiency systems operator, manager, creator, and he makes it just all flow easier. So your two powerhouses really just kind of like motivate me. So it's really cool to work with you guys. And then,
well, thank you.
SprayNet and SBM are kind of no-brainers. SprayNet is the happy medium between spending all your money on replacing something that's just going to go in the trash, which I don't like. I like extending the life and enjoying something as much as you can, at an affordable cost. And you guys aren't traditional paint, which, traditional paint has its place, but it's that subcontractor may just run off on the job, or, that paint might peel in a year or two. And I like quality. I like things that are going to last. And you guys have found something that fits that niche. Like I haven't seen anything else like that when it comes to renovating kitchens and painting. So I think that's really great. And then SBM, you just kind of found a way to support your own brand awareness. You came up with your own system, you came up with your own thing. So that's really cool to be a part of as well.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I know it's always a higher probability that you're going to enjoy working with somebody if they come from jiu-jitsu. If they come, so
I kind of agree.
Yeah. I mean, you worked with Peter when he was managing the academy.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew Peter. He was obviously a black belt, but I saw him, manage, 75 employees, and the different profiles of those employees are wild, right? From a 16-year-old kid to, a 40-something dude like me who just wanted to teach his kids, to professional fighters, to everyone in between, right? He was managing 75 people, 850 members. He did it with such emotional intelligence, such efficiency, such heart. And I'm glad I could steal him away and bring him to this whirlwind of companies, right? This portfolio of companies, and glad we could steal you away. I mean, not that you're ever stolen from martial arts. Well, martial arts for life. But really glad we could, get Peter on board, get you on board.
Mhm.
I mean, the partnership with you has been awesome, and it's just in its infancy, right? It's just, we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I had to ask because I know you've got a lot of opportunities, and here you are working with us. So stoked to have you. All right. So Akasha, AKA Designs, where can people, so if somebody wants to hire you out as a designer, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on social media, AKA Designs. We can put some information on the screen afterwards, but yeah, definitely reach out through social media is probably the easiest way. Instagram, Facebook.
Perfect. Instagram, Facebook. We're going to co-brand AKA Designs with the Kitchen Vision. So when you're out there with clients, it's not just Kitchen Vision by SprayNet. It's Kitchen Vision by AKA Designs, right? And yeah, the resources you're using, the buttons you're pushing are SprayNet colors, right? Or the countertops you're pushing, those are quartz, offered by, our contractors within Kitchen Vision. But so one more question before I let you go. We want to rally more Akashas. We need more Akashas, and there's only so much of you that can go around. How are we going to be of service to the other Akashas, the other designers, badass, people like you? How do we find them? Can we clone you?
For a fee.
I just need a DNA swab, but how can we reach out? How can we find them? That's our mission right now.
Yeah. I mean, we're out here, and it's honestly just people who are interested in design, people who are good with clients. It could be your neighbor down the street. You don't know. You could maybe someone is going to interior design school right now in your neighborhood and you don't know, but just talking about it, putting it out on social media, finding out who your local people are, going in your Facebook groups, just giving a shout out on Nextdoor. I think Peter just recently found a bunch of interior designers on Nextdoor. So yeah, we're out here and we're looking for good people to work with. We don't want to be running through a bunch of people who are going to let us down and let the client down. We want to find good people. So the more you put yourselves out there, I think the more anyone who wants to work with good people is going to see that.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Akasha, we love having you on the team. Thank you so much for your time here. Thanks for kicking ass for our clients.
Yeah, you guys
everything you do, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you soon, Akasha.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.